Well, thank you for keeping it on CK Sports. Clive Chaze is my name. We are in the United States of America, covering the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup. But of course, like I've been saying or notifying you on the different social media platforms, that we shall also use this opportunity to talk to the different Ugandans who are applying their trade in the United States of America, sports in specific or football in particular. And we are humbled and privileged to be joined on set by a man who, by the time he left Uganda, he had the nickname of Gaucho. He has gone into the USA, and lately people are calling him Kafu because he transitioned from a midfield into defense, or at the moment he does play defense for his team, and that is none other than Steven Sserwadda, a product of so many football projects in Uganda, but personally I first got to know him as a product of the KCCA FC junior team before he was promoted to the senior team. But Steven, how is it? Good afternoon, good morning, good evening.
Yeah, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Thanks for this opportunity, Clive. I appreciate you guys for coming here and try to fix some time for us. Yeah, we're really so grateful, and maybe to keep in touch with us. And I think this is a good opportunity for us as players in the US. Thank you.
You've been at this team for 4 years now?
Yeah, 4 years.
And how many years did you play for the KCCA senior team?
I think I started playing for the KCCA senior team since 2015. When by under Coach Ayala and Coach Malinga by the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And before KCFC, where were you playing football from?
I played for so many, academies and teams, as you know, like trying to earn a living and try to improve yourself, and in soccer. So so many teams try to call me, play for them in the tournaments. So many Friends of Football, that's fourth. We have Sparta 09, that's in Bakuli. I had KJT under coach, I don't remember the team. I have KJL, Kick for Life, that's my childhood academy from Coach Ide. And there are so many, including schools and, academies.
Okay. And how do you end up at KCCA?
So this was a time whereby I finished my primary level of P7 at a school called Kisugu Preparatory in Chibuli, and I got drafted, as it's called right now, by Old Kampala SS. I think that was my senior one in 2015, and I was in a Coke. The tournament is called Coca-Cola. I was selected for the dream team, and by that time Coach Chintu was responsible for the dream team.
Nimrod Chintu.
Yeah, Nimrod Chintu. And then he spot me. We went to Kenya. By the time we were me, Mustafa Kiza, who was later had papers, I think UNEB, and Lusumbula Peter, Asiku, Chikonyogo Ronald, Bashir, and so many others. And when we came back, they were like, okay, maybe FUFA's put some junior team, and that was, I think, under 17, under something. And then we were spotted to come by Coach Malinga, and we started train with the KCC junior team.
Okay, KCC junior team. Yeah. Then you get promoted to the senior team, but you were promoted, I think, not in the generation of the Okelo, the Chizas.
Yeah. So in that generation, I think I left KCC for some good time, since they brought in the agent staff, whereby they take you to the MRI and stuff, and I was not qualified to play for the under anymore, and by that time I wasn't promoted. So I was gonna play the tournament called Airtel Rising Stars, but not in Kampala, so far away from Kampala. And the team was True Vine Soccer Club in Tororo, under Coach Owundo Ronald. The likes of Semakula where they come from.
Kenneth Semakula.
Yeah, Kenneth Semakula. So I used to play with him, and I got a call from my school coach. That was Chambade Yusuf, something like that. Yeah, Old Kampala SS. And it was like, Coach Mike is calling you right now. So they passed through my school coach for me to come and be like, okay, I'm getting promoted anytime soon. So by the time I came back to Kampala, I didn't even finish the tournament, and then came back, started training with the first team, KCCA, and Coach Mike Mtevi called me in his office, if I'm to remember. He told me, I'm gonna loan you, I'm gonna sign you, but I'm gonna loan you into Pro Line. You'll be playing for some good time, and then maybe come back later. But I was like, okay, it's fine. But later on, I think I trained so good.
And they didn't loan you?
Yeah, they did, fortunately, because I didn't want to have a loan sometimes. So I started training with the first team. I got signed. I started some games. I played some games, and fortunately, I think I played well.
Yes, Coach Mike Mutebi, not so many people know the true colors of Coach Mike Mutebi, the football coach, the human being, and all that.
Yeah.
For the time you worked with Coach Mike Mutebi, how would you describe him?
I think he's one of the best coaches when it comes to youth development, and his philosophy, he try to use young players, talented ones, but the most important thing with him is you have to be honest, you have to be trustworthy, and you have to be disciplined. If you're good in talent and you don't have those three, you're out. I think that's the only thing I can describe about him.
And of course, your time at KCCA FC, how did you then eventually land that deal to come to New York Red Bull?
So the deal to come to New York, I was called up by FUFA. I think that was Sekafa under 20, where we won the trophy with so many good players by the time in our generation. And winning the Sekafa tournament, we had to represent Uganda in the AFCON under 20.
Yeah.
And later on, I was selected to be part of that team that traveled. I think I did well, thank God. And I think I got spotted by the scouts in Red Bull. And me and my agent sat down because there were so many teams that wanted me to come. But I was like, I had to consider so many things for me to come here. And one of the things that I considered was a former Ugandan captain, player, and my mentor, I call him Ibrahim Sekaja. He was one of the reasons why I'm here.
Okay. But I mean, the process of for starters, didn't it excite you when you heard that a team from the US I wanted to sign?
Yeah, for starters, I was a bit nervous, but excited because that was my first time to play professional at a higher level outside my country, and I was coming to a new environment for whereby I only know one person. The things gonna change, the style of play is gonna change, and everything is gonna change. So I was a bit excited, but when you have a new environment, at least you have that something like push you, like maybe you're nervous, something like that.
How was the transition for you at the time? KCCFC, the way things are done in Uganda and all that, so then you have to come into this environment where everything is spot on.
Yeah, for that I just want to thank God, and because as I told you earlier, one of the reasons why I chose Red Bull is because of Ibra. The transition was not easy, but thank God Ibra made it easy for me to cope up with the situation and everything. And I thank him that
how did he make it easy? Like, what are some of the things he did that made you
so every time I couldn't know something, for him he had an idea of how I can go through it. And sometimes, food and stuff. So, and his family is here, how his wife do so many meals, and she would bring some meals for me. I eat like I feel like home. And the language, I wasn't used to speak of English, and I could get someone who speak Luganda and we can communicate easy.
Yeah.
And sometimes, remember when you first come, people speak so fast, their English is so frequent, so it's not easy for you to pick up some words. But later on, I cope up, I catch up with them, but sometimes I could go to Ibra and explain everything so that I don't mess up the trainings. Yeah.
And then eventually you come in, training starts and stuff like that. What are some of the things that probably shocked you or that they took you a bit of time to adjust to?
So sometimes there are so many things that surprised me, and of course new things, because here everything is organized, starting from time. Waking up, you have to inform how you feel. Coming up to training, you have to be like 30 minutes before training. Eat breakfast like in time for maybe 15 minutes before training or 30 minutes before training. You have a class, you have individual class as you as a player. You have activation, you have warm-up, training, then come, you have GPS, and there are so many things. Anything that you don't do right, there is a fine. And fortunately, I wasn't, good at paying fines. But every time you miss a fine, it raises. So it keeps you and give you responsibility for you to make things right in the right direction. And I think the another thing that surprised me is the style of play, the grass, everything is provided to you. Anything you need is provided 100%. And they want you to be 100% in training and games. So with no excuse.
And then you also had an opportunity to be promoted to the senior team.
Yeah.
As a footballer. How huge was that for you?
I mean, that was, I thank God for that.
That was after how many seasons with the junior team?
That was, I think, one season, because when I came, I only played 4 games and then went back for a off season, came back, trained with the first team. And after training with the first team, that pre-season, later on in the middle of the season, in the middle of that season, I got promoted like loans a little bit. And then later on in the end of the season, I signed my contract with the first team.
And how huge was that for you?
That was a big turn for me. And I feel like I was somewhere in my life, in my career, to maybe show my case, where I come from and what I'm capable of doing on the field. And a lot I was thinking to do for that, moment.
What is the difference between the junior team and the senior team in terms of how you're treated and stuff like that?
I mean,
how you travel, how you train?
I mean, there are so many things, but the difference is less, I would say. Because if you look, we use the same facility. We use the same trainings. We use, I think everything is same. But the treatment, in terms of transportation, for them, they have their private jet, and everyone has a seat.
Wow.
And for us,
and in the locker room?
Yeah, the locker room, they have names. The locker room is so big. You have, space, big space for everyone, like to do everything for yourself. They have, in terms of transport, the second team is traveling with normal passengers. And you need a ticket. You use, you don't have like space for you to how can I say it? You don't have space for your, how can I say
leg room?
Like leg room and stuff. And for them, I used to train with them, like travel with them, and for them, they can sleep on the plane. Like they have the whole thing for themselves.
It's business class all through.
Yeah, but I think that's one thing they did, so that you can work hard for you to be there.
Because around that time, you get summoned to the national team, the Ghana Cranes.
Yeah.
And I remember those qualifiers.
Yeah.
That game against Tanzania in Cairo,
Yeah.
where you come on, then you get injured and you have to be subbed.
Yeah.
And that injury was kind of a setback for you.
Yeah.
in your career, because around that time, you're on the senior team.
Yeah.
news starts moving around in Uganda that you've been released. Unfortunately, none of us knew what was going on when the senior team says that a goodbye. Then a few months later, we see the junior team saying, "Welcome back, Sserwadda," and all that. But in terms of setback, how was that setback for you as a footballer? You're on the senior team, someone on the national team, you get injured, you are released from the senior team, you have to go through the process of recovery, but then come back to the junior team.
So I mean, every man would have challenges like that, setbacks, but you need to sit down and realize what I did wrong, the mistakes and stuff. And you know, life moves on at the end of the day. So I learned something that you're not gonna be top all the time. You're gonna have setbacks, you're gonna have, you know, challenges along the way, along the path, but you need to overcome it. And the most important thing is, how are you gonna come back? And after getting that injury, I was so pissed, you know, as everyone like footballer would feel. I felt so bad because that was a turn off for me. And I felt at times my career is done. But later on, as I told you, I had my mentor. He has passed through all that. It was like, no, life has not, you know, changed yet. You still have time, you still have life. Maybe God is planning something for you. But later on, we got an MRI, and the only thing was to do is the surgery. So there was so many options, but the surgery was the biggest option. And the doctors were suggesting for me to maybe spend 8 months out of training, out of like active soccer. I was like, yeah, let's do it. Because in the first place, I wasn't gonna do it. But later on, when I talked to Ibra, it was like, you have to do it if you wanna be like come back strong. And he gave me a motivation whereby he told me, you being out, it's gonna make you work on your weaknesses that you have. I was like, okay, that's cool. And when I talked to my agent, was like, you know, that's, you know, we passed through that. You're a soccer player, so you have to go through that and everything. But later on, I made the surgery and I came back and talking about the release. And unfortunately, they didn't recover my contract. They didn't give me the option. And when I talked to Ibra, he was like, I need you in my team. Because by then, Ibra was the first team, second team head coach. And was like, I need you in my team. We discussed the stuff with my agent and I got the contract back. But I didn't say anything because, you know, I couldn't do anything before say anything out of, you know, the office.
Well, talk about the junior team. Lately, you've played a series of games at right back. Back home, people know you to be a midfielder. How has that been for you in terms of, first of all, the challenge, but also adjusting to the challenge to fit into that role?
So I believe that football is something simple when you understand it. It doesn't matter what position you play, but what matters is how you position yourself in some cases in the position that you put in. So I was once a winger. I was once you know, a right wing back. That was, I think, under the coach Mode Viekwaso.
The under-20 team.
The under-20 team. So it was at least an easy transition for me to be a right back. And unfortunately, our right back got an injury, a shoulder injury. Sorry about that, quick recovery. But I had to step in for the team. And I think I had the ability to do it because I got the speed. I'm a little bit smart in positions. It's a matter of play, look where you have to play, and defend. And being a defensive midfielder, you have to defend automatically. So it's easy for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
How is working with Michael Bradley been for you, especially for somebody who worked with Ibra Sekaja for such a long time?
I mean, I'm so happy for him. He has introduced so many things in the group, and he's a good coach. He's a good man. He's a honest man and trustworthy. And I think the connection with the group is really so good on top. and I think the team is liking him so much, and the way right now we play is so good. I won't say it's not bad, but it's good. Yeah, he's a good person.
And the training facilities?
Is everything on top. He's a good person.
Then as we wind up, what do you miss most about home?
There are a lot that I miss about home. Mostly my mom, my family, my girlfriend, but the food a little bit, because we don't eat the same food as home, and food back home tastes different. And I miss my friends. I miss like cheering up, moving in the evening, jam, noise and stuff in Kampala. Yeah, and
You miss Kampala?
yeah, I miss Kampala, bro.
Continue.
Yeah, I miss Kampala so much because I think home is the best, man.
No, anyway,
I'm telling
East
you,
or
home
West
is
home
the
is the
best.
best. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about as we wind up the FIFA Club World Cup,
Yeah.
currently going on in the United States of America.
Yeah.
Your thoughts about it,
Yeah.
but also what kind of host do you think USA will be when the World Cup comes around next year?
So talking about the US Club World Cup is such a good tournament. I've been watching some few games right now, and I feel like there are so many teams that we think the weak teams, and they come back like strong and surprising teams, as I can say. Like the game against Man City, no one expected for I think to win. Yeah, but if Asian teams can play like that on a Europe team, I think soccer is going somewhere. And about the US hosting the World Cup, I think that's very good, and I think I support it 100% because it's gonna boost the soccer in the US, and bringing players and open eyes about soccer in the US.
Well, your closing remarks are probably greetings for people back home. Uganda.
Abaana b'ewaka bonna mbatumidde. Mbaagala nnyo mwebale kutuwagira, mwebale kuwagula mupiira gwa Uganda n'abaana abali ebweru. Tugezaako okuraisinga flag ya Uganda yonna, naye tweyanze essaala zammwe. Mukama Katonda abankuumire. Mweraba.
Well, that's all the time we had for you with Steven Sserwadda here, still at the New York Red Bulls training facility. Clive Chaze is my name. If you're yet not subscribed to this channel, it will take you less than a second to subscribe. And yes, catch you again in the next episode.